Hello everyone, back tuning into today's first video, doing European outlook for today's first video. So as always on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather for the next week, 10 days in detail for Europe. These videos are YouTube exclusive, so if you want to be notified when we are releasing these and the USA forecast every Wednesday and Thursday, then you'll need to be subscribed to GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel. Make sure you click all notifications, and then YouTube will tell you when these videos are released. Or that's how it should work in theory anyway. Coming up later on today, we're going to have a 10 to 14 day video update, including all upgrade features, and we've got a crisp update coming up for you tonight as well, actually, so that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be around 7 o'clock tonight. Right, so let's start off then with the situation today across northern Europe. So we've got low pressure out in the Atlantic, and we're bringing in like a very mild west-southwesterly wind into much of northern and western Europe. Many parts of Europe, actually central eastern regions, are covered by a large ridge of high pressure. Our air temperatures looking really mild across most parts of Europe today, especially across more southern parts of the continent, but also in the north. I mean, these temperatures are pretty mild, really, for the time of the year. So there's quite a bit of dry weather around, actually. We have got some showery outbreaks of rain out in the northwest, so around Denmark down into the Low Countries, Northern Germany, there's some showery rain there. And there's a band of rain heading in towards Ireland and western parts of Scotland as well. 1 or 2 showers down through the central bowl of the Med. But the emphasis, really, through most parts of Europe today is on dry weather, to be honest. Temperatures looking like that. So it's quite cold across the very far north of Europe, as you'd expect, of course. We are well into November, so you would expect winter to be well and truly biting. And actually, although it is cold across central northern parts of Scandinavia and into northwestern Russia, it's probably not as cold as you would expect it to be at this time of year. And generally the temperatures are pretty mild, really, through most areas. So we're talking about low teens, really, to mid to upper teens. And even down to Mediterranean, we're talking about low 20s Celsius. So generally mild across most parts of Europe today. Mild for the time of year. That's how things are looking as we go through into Friday. So the next area of low pressure is whipping itself up out in the Atlantic. That's heading in to the north and west Europe. However, most central and east areas are still covered by this ridge of high pressure. Upper air temperatures generally looking mild across most parts of Europe once again. Precipitation-wise, again, as most parts are dominated by high pressure, will be a lot of dry weather on offer. What rain there is in the far north and northwest of Europe through the course of tomorrow. And the temperatures, so quite cold across northern parts of Europe, come further southwards. I mean, sort of Poland, Ukraine, we are talking about quite cold temperatures, really, sort of low, mid, single-digit temperatures through those areas. But for the time of year, it's probably still a little bit mild on average. Out in the west, it looks particularly mild through France, Spain, Portugal, and most of the Mediterranean looking pretty mild as well through the course of Friday. Into the weekend, this area of low pressure deepens in the Atlantic. That will bring wet and windy weather in towards Ireland, the UK, possibly some of that coming to northern parts of France as well. Still these mild southerly winds pushing up through Scandinavia, from some showers through there. The high pressure is gradually receding a little bit further eastwards over towards the eastern side of Europe. Really mild on Saturday. Look at these upper air temperatures in the west of Europe. Really mild upper air temperatures pumping up from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean through the west of Europe and heading off into Scandinavia as well. I mean, obviously it's colder across Scandinavia because it's that much further north, but nevertheless, the time of year still pretty mild. And even over onto the eastern side of Europe, generally the upper air temperatures are looking pretty mild through the course of tomorrow. Through the course of Saturday, I should say. A lot of heavy rain across Ireland and the UK. Some of that just coming down in towards northern parts of France. A little bit heading over towards southern Norway and Denmark. Some showers down towards Portugal and southern parts of Spain as well. However, really through most parts of Europe, again, the emphasis continues to be on a lot of dry weather. A few road showers through the Med, maybe the odd thunderstorm, but the emphasis is on dry weather as we go into the weekend. The temperatures look like this, so mild or very mild across many western, southwestern parts of Europe. Always a little bit colder in the north and the northeast, but not as cold as you might expect for this time of year. We do see very cold air into central parts of Russia, by the way, so that's where winter is lurking. But at the moment, most parts of Europe are looking mild. As we go through into Sunday, so wet and windy in the northwest of Europe, particularly around Ireland, the UK again, this deep area of low pressure. Again, some of that will affect northern parts of France, probably the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, maybe Denmark, northern Germany, and we've got these mild and showery southerly winds passing towards Scandinavia. What high pressure is across southern Europe and on the eastern side of Europe as well. Upper air temperatures show that we've got those very mild upper air temperatures pushing further northwards and eastwards. Look how mild it is across Scandinavia. Wow, that really is very, very mild with the upper air temperatures from many parts of Sweden and Norway, and even in some parts of Finland and northeastern Baltic Sea states as well. So most parts of Europe looking very, very mild as we go through into Sunday. Warm through the Mediterranean, just turning a little bit cooler across Ireland and the UK as well. We've got this band of heavy rain progressing eastwards across France in towards the Low Countries, in particular western parts of Germany, probably heading in towards Denmark and southern parts of Norway by the end of Sunday afternoon. Blustery showers following along behind across parts of UK and Ireland. Some heavy showers through the Bay of Biscay, or some heavy rain through the Bay of Biscay into northern parts of Spain and Portugal. Showers up across Scandinavia, so be a mix of rain, sleet, possibly snow over high ground, and then progressing further eastwards across many central and eastern parts of Europe. Again, it's looking mainly dry with high pressure dominated, a few showers from the central bowl of the Med. Temperature-wise, so quite cold across northern Scandinavia and down into northwestern Russia, but not as cold as you'd expect at this time of year. Otherwise, it's a mild scene again across most parts of Europe, especially so across the west and the southwest Europe, although Ireland and the UK just turning a little bit cooler on Sunday perhaps. Monday, so high pressure then is dominating through France into the Alpine regions, so that's drawing up like a long effect southwesterly back into western Europe, another push of mild or very mild air moving back in from off the Atlantic into west of Europe. You have got high pressure building over western parts of Russia, and that's going to keep, that's like the Siberian high by the way, that's going to keep wind in from the south across many of those eastern parts of Europe. Upper air temperatures are looking mild or very mild. Look how mild those upper air temperatures are across Scandinavia, even right way into the very far north up towards Svalbard. Incredibly mild upper air temperatures with those southerly winds. And generally it's a mild or a very mild scene across most parts of Europe with those upper air temperatures on Monday. That band of rain has pushed eastwards through Germany in towards parts of Poland and maybe going a little bit further eastwards. That showers following along behind as more wet weather begin to pile back in towards Ireland and Scotland. Scandinavia, again, a mix of rain, sleet, possibly snow over the highest ground, but I think generally it's going to be more towards the rain side of precipitation rather than snow, given how mild those upper air temperatures are. And then through the Mediterranean, so a few showers through the central bowl of the Med, but largely dry through much of France, Spain and Portugal, and pretty dry over on the eastern side of the Mediterranean as well, to be honest. Temperatures look like that, so they're generally mild for the time of year, maybe a little bit cooler across the north and west of Europe on Monday for a time, but for the time of year, they're still generally above average. Warmest temperatures are down through the Mediterranean. Anything particularly cold is like forced back into Russia, really. And up towards Greenland and Iceland as well, I suppose. That's how we think things look on Tuesday. So another batch of wet and windy weather. Looks like it's sweeping in from off the Atlantic into north and west of Europe. At the same time, got a ridge extending from southern Europe up towards the northeast. So for eastern parts of Europe, the emphasis on dry weather. Cooler air moving down the eastern side of Europe. I say cooler, not colder, but cooler air is moving down the eastern side of Europe on Tuesday. At the same time, got another push of mild air into the north and west, very mild through Ireland, through the UK, through the Low Countries and much of France. Warm down to Spain and Portugal as well. Temperatures there probably into the low to maybe even mid-20s Celsius. So some heavy showers and thunderstorms, perhaps breaking out across the eastern part of the Med. So that's a little bit different for Tuesday. So for southern Italy, down towards Greece and Turkey, or down towards Greece anyway, we might have some big showers and thunderstorms breaking out there. Otherwise, again, the emphasis is on dry weather, really from Spain and Portugal right way up towards western parts of Russia, until we go into the far northwest, where we've got more wet and windy weather pushing through the UK, Ireland, in towards Norway as well. The temperatures are looking like this, so turning a little bit colder across this far eastern part of Europe, a little bit of cold air beginning, I mean genuinely cold air, beginning to seep out of Russia in towards parts of eastern Ukraine over here, for example. So just a little bit colder on this extreme eastern side of Europe. But generally, against a mild scene, especially so out in the west, temperatures well above average in many western parts of Europe on Tuesday. Wednesday looks like that next week, so sunshine and showers ready on this blustery westerly wind into the western part of Europe. Again, we've got high pressure across western parts of Russia, which keeps the wind up from the south, really, across most of those eastern parts of Europe. Upper air temperatures look like this. So generally, again, quite a mild sort of scene, really, through most parts of Europe for the time of the year anyway. Another band of heavy rain coming out of the Atlantic in towards sort of France, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, up into southern parts of Norway as well. Go a little bit further north into Norway and Sweden, some of that will probably turn to snow. It turns a little bit drier for Ireland and the UK, but see the next batch of wet and windy weather is to west of Ireland, waiting to sweep in from off the Atlantic. Much of southwestern Europe looks mainly dry, or southwestern Med looks mainly dry. The eastern Med, again, big showers and thunderstorms possible, especially focused on southern Italy and Greece. And then up the eastern side of Europe, the emphasis is on pretty dry weather too. So cold in the extreme east of Europe. Again, you see how those cold surface temperatures have seeped out of Russia just into this extreme eastern part of Europe. Overall, it looks like most parts of Europe are cooling down a little bit by Wednesday. So we're losing the yellow colours, we're going back towards the greens. So widely, I think temperatures dropping by a few degrees by the middle of next week. But for the time of the year, especially so for places like Scandinavia, it is still pretty mild, to be honest, on Wednesday. Right, and then that's going to take us through to Thursday, when we're going to have the winds coming in from the west again, and low pressure dominating across western parts and northern parts of Europe as well. It looks like pressure just generally weakening across more of the southern and eastern parts of Europe as well. Upper air temperatures on Thursday, overall cooling down a little bit, still probably above average, especially so for northern Europe, but beginning to cool down slightly as the wind goes into the northwest. So the jet stream just starts to ease south a little bit as high pressure weakens across southern parts of Europe. You see it's generally turning more and more unsettled by next week. So we've got quite a bit of rain now across many parts of Europe. Heavy rain, of course, with below pressure out in the northwest, where it's always been quite wet. But in these eastern, more southern parts of Europe, looking quite wet as well. Some of this will be snow, probably up across Scandinavia and into northeastern parts of Europe as the air is beginning to get colder. So I think we see more of this precipitation turn to snow in the far north of Europe. Driest weather looks like it's for Spain and Portugal, perhaps through the central pole of the Mediterranean, but it's overall turning more unsettled. Temperatures are beginning to turn colder as well across northern and northeastern parts of Europe. Probably still a little bit above average for the time of year, but it does look as though things are getting colder by the second half of next week in the far north and northeast Europe, and particularly cold again around the Russian-European border, where it does look quite bitter, I think, by the time we get through to the second half next week. Cooling down light through the Balkans as well, and even back into Spain and Portugal and France. It looks like things are becoming a little bit cooler through there. The central part of the Med still looks quite mild. And then I'll just run you on up to day 10. So this is Friday, 20th of November. So showery and unsettled, and gradually becoming colder as well, I think, through the second half of next week. That's Saturday the 21st. Another bout of wet and windy weather, and probably mild southwesterly winds coming back in towards Ireland and the UK. However, many northern, central and possibly some eastern parts of Europe are looking cooler or colder and more unsettled. Big low pressure system developing there around Italy, by the way, and down in towards Greece. Could bring some torrential rain and thunderstorms. And as we get to day 10, which is Sunday the 22nd of November, again, the emphasis is on unsettled weather, particularly so for the north and the west of Europe, with showers or longer spells of rain. Mild in west of Europe. I think for more northern, central and eastern areas, the temperature is getting colder, and more of that precipitation will be going from rain towards snow by that point, I think, in the north of Europe. Right, if you enjoyed this European Outlook, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think, and make sure to subscribe to GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel, and we shall be back with our 10 to 14 day video update later on this afternoon. That's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.